Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer and we are returning to our Fridays for Future Let's Play of Fate of the World, the climate change game. The year is now 2080 and I'm very happy because last time we were, for the very first time in the game, able to bring down global annual emissions of CO2 below the level of 2010. So below the level where we started. We are now slightly below the original, and that's very good news because this is very tough. We've been bringing down China, we've been bringing down North America and Europe very significantly, but just capturing India. And for the first time India really does make a big cut in their contributions here, so that is really great to see. We also have weathered the storm of the oil shortage. We are now producing probably less oil even than we did before, but that does come at the cost of we are not using that much oil, so that is very good to see. Right, so I'm very happy about this, but we do need to be a little bit careful because also uranium usage and all of that is coming down, and uranium production as well. So these are things that we do need to be concerned about, but overall we are making some great progress. On the other hand, we can see that the biggest emitters of CO2 at this point in time is actually Southern Africa, and that is mostly because if we look at over here, we can see that the coal usage actually in the world is very heavily concentrated. So South Africa is a bit of an issue because the emissions here are just coming up and up and up. Well, mostly coming up, but energy usage is just increasing a little bit, so, and still very reliant on coal. So we do need to address that. We do actually play a couple of cards over here and policies that are very useful to that. So we are reducing the industrial carbon emissions, or we are issuing regulations on business and household and the industry to use less and less of that, and that we should see over here. So you can see industry is having less emissions. And we should probably see that as well on the energy home, so on the homes. So here we go, inefficient homes are reduced. So that's very good to see. But on the other hand, it's still very coal driven, so that is a problem. We also see that the vegetarian program is as successful as possible, and we do see an increase in our overall budget as well, so that is fantastic. I think actually China had more like, so up by 50. Do we actually see the total balance, whether it's up? Yeah, well, it is up, so that is very good to see. In South Africa then, I think there is no very bad news that would warn us of any impending doom, so I think this is pretty good. Vegetarian program is very successful, so that is nice as well. So let's keep an eye on the energy production in particular over here. So it's 55% coal, but it's also 20% renewables, and that's pretty nice because, yes indeed, we are replacing basically coal in the electricity generation by solar energy, and that is nice because we now have the technology to actually do that with the concentrated photovoltaic cells, the advanced turbines, and all of that. I really think super smart grids would be very nice, but we're probably going to get that in 3 turns only. So either way, I think this is what we'll have to live with, but just look at how quickly we will be getting these things now. So that is very encouraging to see. Nevertheless, for now, I think that is not something that we can or should be doing. So all in all, I'm pretty fine with the structure over here. Of course, coal is still a very big issue. But other than that, though, I think it would be nice to protect the land and soil. We might want to think about, well, we are pretty much balanced already, so we don't necessarily need to do the eco awareness campaign. We could do improved storm defenses, that's always very nice, so I think that might actually be what we want to do over here. It's fairly cheap, people will like us a little bit more, so that's nice to see. And yeah, the GDP per capita is already pretty good over here, so yeah, we mostly need to work on the renewables. I think it doesn't make that much sense to get South Africa over to nuclear technology, I think. Right, who else is a big emitter? So still India, still China. India, of course, one of our very triggered by medium migration risk. So yeah, there are some very big issues in India, and there have always been very bad issues over here. But But actually, overall we are doing relatively fine compared to what it could have been. Electricity is predominantly being produced from gas. And there's a very mixed bag over here. At least we are not using as much oil as we did before, so we might actually want to stop the decline of oil power, because this really isn't this significant anymore. So I think this is pretty okay. Actually, I'm mostly worried about the coal consumption over here. Uranium is okay, gas is okay. More gas is actually pretty good. We are still committing to nuclear, so that is okay as well. On the other hand, we could do improved storm defenses. That's always something nice to play. We could commit to renewables, but I'm not sure this is the way to go right now. Coal-free industry might be a decent choice. Oh, and we actually have broken. Okay, so this is very nice. We might actually not want to get the improved storm defenses, but definitely want to get the business and industrial carbon regulations, so that at the very least the energy usage starts to come down a little bit. And yeah, you can see especially the industry is eating up a lot of energy over here, so that is definitely something that we do need to address. We should also think about the water stress and the fact there's not that much energy being used in the transport sector, so we will drop the transport sector over there, and that I think should be fine. What can we do against the water stress though? So I'm thinking there's not much we can do except maybe to subsidize biochar. Is there any technology that we do want to get? Well, quantum computing is always very, very nice, because that actually does allow us to give a very significant boost to the economy, and the economy is at least 8% of the world, so it's not entirely insignificant. Just how much would that be? Not that much, but might still be good. On the other hand, biochar for less water usage, that's pretty good. I mean, we also see the nationalist tendencies here and the migration. I think migration is to a very large extent caused by water stress. Yeah, +5 migration risk. Yeah. Okay, so I do think we should subsidize biochar development, incentivize people to turn biomass into charcoal and blend the products into soils. It does give a nice boost to agriculture, which is not that significant, but most importantly is the agricultural water usage, which does come down. We should actually check whether the water problems here are caused by the agricultural sector. That's pretty balanced actually with the industry, but there's not that much that we can do about the industry. So yeah, I think it's biochar, and that's going to be fine. All the other ones are still okay, especially the protect lands and soil. I think that would be very good. It's one of the few ways we can bring down emissions. Reabsorb some carbon into the atmosphere. Ooh, this is pretty bad. So we are seeing the first uranium shortages. That is a big problem, because China is very, very, very reliant on nuclear power right now. So that is one of the downsides that we were seeing. There's sunshine nationalism. That's not good. Maybe we should try to get a little bit more greener outlook, so that we are out of balance and not getting this event. Quantum computing has been researched. That's nice to see. On the other hand, energy usage is much more efficient, so our electricity consumption here should be, yeah, very significantly down, and that's extremely nice to see. So I think we might actually want to switch out of the commit to nuclear power here and instead think about other technologies. So specifically, we might want to get more efficiency. We could Tobin tax. I'm mindful to switch to our transport system to electricity, so that we are using less oil. That might be a pretty good move. Other than that though, well, Tobin tax would be nice. We are doing the vegetarian revolution, so protecting the land and soil might make some sense. We are going to get new technologies next turn, biofuels and concentrated photovoltaic cells. Both of these are very, very useful. Super smart grid's gonna come in very soon as well. Yeah, all of these are very good. So happy with this. So yeah, let's actually go to protect the lands and the land and soil. I think that would be okay. We could commit to renewables at some point, phase out nuclear basically, but for now I'm content with the conversion incentives so that we are more efficient at producing that. Where are our emissions coming from? From the agricultural sector actually. Well, that's extremely interesting. Why though? Water usage? No. Transport usage? Can't be. Interesting. Oh well, the vegetarian revolution should help out with that. So I think that's going to be okay. In the Middle East, what's going on over here? We have acquired geoengineering. That's good to see. CCS, yes. People don't like to be Tobin taxed, but there is peace, there are smart grids, and all of this. Yeah, but there's also water stress. Right, overall the emissions are coming from all sectors, specifically the energy sector. And we are using quite a lot of oil over here. So that might be an issue. Could do quantum computing, we could definitively do advanced turbines. I think that might make a lot of sense, simply because it means being much more efficient at all of these things. We do have the business and household carbon regulations, but we don't have the industrial ones. So that's a little bit funny. Could do improved storm defense, but there's also water stress. And the enhanced water infrastructure might just make sense for that regard. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. Let's actually drop out of the expanded oil production, because I do not think that we do need this anymore. And go for coal-free industry instead. I mean, there can't be that much usage, can there be? Or just acquire quantum computing. How much are you actually using in the industry? Well, it's still a bit. Okay, let's go for coal-free industry and then we'll be able to convert things much faster. Right, other than that, we are in the Middle East, so South Asia, Latin America, Northern Africa. South Asia, how are you doing? So what's the news over here? Oh, all good news. So green, that's nice to see. That's what I'd like to see at the very least. Peace reigns. Yeah, but some issues with fuel toxicity. We are expanding biofuels. I do think we are still fine in regards to local food costs. Yeah, they're fine. So we do have plenty of food over here which we can expand into biofuels. We should actually briefly check on how well that is going. So let's have a look at oil, I think. Conventional, synthetic oil. Yeah, well, is it really that much? Synthetic oil. Are you coming up? Oh yeah, you are. That's nice. 2,000. Just out of curiosity, how much oil is the Middle East producing? So overall 10,000. Is that true? Yeah, marketable oil is 12,000 and down here it's 2,000 from synthetics. It's not nothing, it's just really not enough. Right, so where are your emissions coming from then? Also mostly really the energy usage or energy generation, and that's because you have a very coal heavy mix. I'm tempted to also go renewables over here, but we haven't really got the technology. So we do actually need to acquire some of the technology, and I think we can buy another card over here. We do have some money left, so let's actually do that and acquire which ones. Quantum computing? And I think this one is the furthest one away. Yeah, I think that's okay. So acquire aerosols. There we go. And all of the other ones are fine, I think. Latin America then? Oh, you don't like the Tobin tax? That's fine. Deforestation is slowed down, that's nice to see. Forest fires, that of course is not that great. Tobin tax, yes. Okay, so we should, I think next turn, see the Protect Land and Soil Forest cards being done over here. Which is okay. Smart grids have been researched. It's also good to see. What else have you got? Okay, quantum computing, photovoltaic cells, aerosols. Yeah, you're lagging behind technology a little bit, so let's actually acquire a new slot over here. And I think we're actually gonna go... Well, we're gonna get that next turn anyway. So let's get aerosols over here as well. That's gonna be alright. You're unbalanced. Guess we could switch out of the Tobin tax, so let's keep that in mind. Just in case we don't need to go anywhere else. Russia and Northern Africa. We might actually buy just the remaining slots over here. Let's actually recruit one in Northern Africa and let's go here next. Because I think we'll be able to do a lot of things here anyway. Okay, so we do need to deal with the drought. Grassland management is coming in nicely, that's good to see. Yep. Very good. Alright, so, and I think we actually did not see any water problems here, did we? Well, water stress is still at 30%, so that's something that we might want to keep. So we could go for the drought protection rather. Don't think it's necessarily required. We're definitely going to take these two because they are wonderful technologies. And we're definitely going to pick them. People are communal over here, so they are not actually going to object to many things. So we could acquire more technology. So this is we are going to get anyway. And this not so much. So yeah, here as well, let's acquire aerosols. So we're going to slowly spread the love. Russia, things are going reasonably well. So we don't actually need to change that much. We could acquire more technology. 6 years, so these are 2 turns. This as well. Could do quantum computing, might not be the worst. Let's acquire quantum computing, get a little bit more money, and I think that's going to be alright. Right, so Russia, Northern Africa, so that does leave us with... Oh, sorry. That does leave us with... okay, I mixed it up a little bit. I think we should definitely do North America and Europe. Europe is our headquarters, so it's colored a little bit differently. Advanced turbines, that's nice. You're now at communal outlook, that I think is enough for now. So everything else over here seems to be fine. Especially a lot of things that have been researched and that do give nice boosts to our GDP. In about 5 turns we're gonna get first generation nanotechnology, which is important. Do have super smart grids. I'm slightly concerned about the benthic depressurization because this is mining seabed gas, which does have a tendency to become unstable and cause very big issues. So we might actually want to go to global policies, which I think should be under this category, and actually do a global ban of clathrate exploitation. Avoids 2.5 chance of clathrate eruptions per turn. I think this is well worth it. I'm very tempted by the global ban on coal production, but South Africa in particular still has a big issue in this regard, so we are not going to do that for the very moment. Could do the land and soil protection, always like that. Are you still emitting anything of note? Not really. Industry and agriculture. Industry, you're mostly fine, you're mostly renewables anyway. What is not produced from renewables? Just a little bit of coal, a little bit of gas, a little bit of oil. Well, we could commit to renewables and that would help. But you know what, actually let's go for vegetarian revolution and I think that's going to be better. Transport efficiency. Switch out of that here for a second. Could do Tobin tax, but I don't think that's worthwhile. People here don't have jobs, which is somewhat irritating. Okay, let's go for coal-free industry so that we start converting things over here. In North America, advanced turbines, nice. Geoengineering, yes, that's good. Industrial emissions are coming down. Tech booming. Yep, everything good. No technology that we do want to acquire, so everything seems to be fine over here. 2 turns till we get super smart grids, which is going to be immensely helpful. 5 turns till we get first generation fusion, which is not going to be that great helpful, but at least it will help out a little bit. So we could switch our transport to look at that, energy production. It's fully renewable. It's 100% renewables. That's extremely great because that definitely does make it worthwhile to switch our transport to industry, and we might as well do the local conversion of the coal to coal-free industry. And I think that's going to be very, very good for us. Right, I think that nearly has all of the countries covered except for Japan. Ooh, only good news over here. Well, not only. Storms. Cloth mining starts. Yeah, see, there's you produce 250 gas, but there is a 2.5% chance of eruption, and eruptions are really not good. You don't want that, so that is why we initiate a global ban on that, and I think that's going to be okay. Right, you're consumerist, so on the other hand, there's not that much that we do need to do. We do have the adaptation ready, so that's not really something that we do need to do. Organic farming seems pretty pointless over here. So what we actually might want to do is either the industrial carbon regulations, but on the other hand the emissions here are so negligible anyway that might not be required. On the other hand, reforestation of Japan, I mean, it's nice. It's not a big thing. Quantum computing, it will help. It's not going to be very significant. And desalination is what you're researching over here, so that is okay too. And in Oceania, how are things looking over here? Job sharing initiative did work out, so that is okay. Meters do get smart. Multiple wildfires, that is no good. Everything else seems to be somewhat reasonable. Emissions are very, very low over here. So that is not actually something that we do need to care about. But I do care about not losing this region, so... Improved drought and wildfire defenses. Yes, let's go for that. Right, so that does leave us with some nice money, and I think we do have the Tobin tax in Latin America. So if we drop this, we won't have that much money. But is there anything that we do want to do over here? You really don't have the technology, and we don't actually acquiring that much technology. But, on the other hand, we don't really have money for anything else. I don't think there's anything that is affordable. Relaxed borders. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Right, so... I think we actually might have to do the Tobin tax. Question is, do we want to do it in Latin America, or do we want to do it maybe somewhere else? Maybe even Russia. Can we do it in Russia? You know what? We can do it in Russia. And people wouldn't necessarily hate us, so let's actually do it. Let's buy another thingy over here, and let's acquire quantum computing, and that does pay for itself. And more importantly, it does pay for an affordable technology down here in Latin America as well. And I think what we're going to pick is quantum computing, so that we can get super smart grids later on, and that's going to give us a very, very nice boost to our technology there as well. So here we go. Very little money left, no point left in recruiting anyone. We're mostly maxed out on our agents anyway, except for Russia and Oceania, so, and Japan of course. But these are not very significant emitters anyway. So yeah, that's very nice to see. So let's see what the next turn brings. World headlines. Temperature projections are coming down a little bit, but we do see a 0.5 meters of sea level rise, so expect increased troubles with coastal areas. Emissions are going down or going up. Global population is well above 9 billion. Increase of emissions in the Middle East and in North America, so that means probably wildfire over there. pretty bad. That probably means we are overall increasing our emission footprint. Is that true? Yeah, we should actually check over here. It's not that much, I think. No. It's actually coming down, so that is great to see. Probably even though... Where's North America? Even though North America must have increased very significantly. But yeah, you can see China is working out like a charm now. This is a brilliant cut over here. Same with Southern Africa actually. It's actually coming down, so that's extremely important to see. India mostly neutral. Latin America being a very dramatic cut, but that's actually... no, wait a minute, was that China, I think? So let's look at the emissions in China and see what they were. Yeah, basically we are not... Energy is basically at 0. And even agriculture is coming down a little bit, so that's extremely good to see, and that's probably only due to the fact that we are probably mostly producing stuff from uranium. So this doesn't add up to 100% anymore because there's a very high boost between these two numbers, mostly due to the uranium effectiveness. Yeah. So yeah, it's really mostly fourth generation nuclear power that's powering China, except for a little bit of biomass. Very nice change though. And actually in terms of transport, probably are seeing a very drastic decrease in the fuel oil here, right? Yeah, very good. So that also decreases our reliance on oil a little bit. That's very fantastic to see. Let's also see whether we are committing, or whether the committing to new renewables over here does anything good. Very slowly we are using more solar power in Southern Africa and less coal. But is it gonna be enough? And energy is somewhat stable, even though we are playing 2 cards at the very least to reduce energy consumption, so that is something that we do need to keep in mind. Right, that being said, we are in the year 2085. Next time we will be advancing to 2090. Gonna look at all of these news again, of course, and decide on what we are going to do. Probably gonna give a little bit of an overview of the world again, but yeah. Until then, I thank you very much for watching. Do leave a like and all of that if you want. Otherwise, I see you guys next time, next Friday. Bye bye.